Are you too busy? Too stressed out? Unhealthy? Then this is the place for you. Welcome to Balanced Living for Busy Professionals, where we help you create wellness and balance with a holistic approach that will work for you, even with the busiest of schedules, so you can live the life you want. And now, here's your host, Diane Randall.
Hello and welcome back. Today I'm going to talk about negative self-talk, that inner critic, that inner voice that judges you and says the most awful things to you, like I'm fat, I'm ugly, I'm not smart enough, I'm not worthy. You know, those things that you say to yourself. So who is this talking in your head? It's you talking to yourself. It's that incessant chatter inside your head that we all experience. If anyone talked to you the way you talk to yourself, you would get angry, you would stop talking to that person altogether, but yet you say hurtful things to yourself. How many times has someone said something nice to you and you turn around and you think to yourself, oh, they didn't really mean that. They're just being nice. How many times have you said that? We all say self-defeating negative things to ourselves, while at the same time wishing it all could change. How can we stop this chatter and turn it around to something positive? I'm going to share some ways to help you better relate to yourself by changing how you talk to yourself, because how you talk to yourself can actually change your life. Self-talk isn't just mindless chatter. It has a way of creating your reality with self-defeating beliefs and behaviors, like when you tell yourself you can do something and you make it happen. This is a positive aspect of self-talk. But today, I'm going to focus on negative self-talk. So you may say to yourself, for example, you can't do something, and this becomes true. How many times have you told yourself you'll lose weight and then you eat a gallon of ice cream or cookies or whatever you eat? You go on some kind of eating binge. Or you say to yourself, it's too hard to find a job, and you're likely to watch TV instead of updating your resume, or more importantly, you stay at that job you hate for many, many years instead of looking for something new. I can go on and on with many other examples, but I want you to understand that how you relate to yourself is how you show up and navigate in the world. And this is also how other people see you. Whenever I work with my clients or I facilitate a workshop where the topic is about change, is about stepping out of one's comfort zone, or I talk about life's motivations, I always start with a topic of self-talk, because it's important that people start to notice their own negative self-talk and turn those thoughts around. And I want to give you some ideas and practices on how to help you turn those thoughts into positive ones, because what happens is we may have positive thoughts or we want to do something to change our life. That part of us that's scared and that's fear-based will start to take over, telling us all the reasons we can't move into something that we don't know. We can't move into something new and something wrong, because the discomfort of making a change or doing something that you've never done, it's pretty strong and your mind reacts. So I'm going to share with you today some practices that will help you to not get rid of the self-talk, but actually to help you create some awareness and nourish your mind so that you can become aware of what your thoughts are. So the first thing I'd like to do is talk about creating awareness of your thoughts. And this is done by creating a practice that nourishes your mind and keeps you focused on the present moment. For example, and these are just examples of what my clients and my workshop attendees have told me that work for them when they're trying to just calm down and quiet their mind. planting and maintaining a garden, meditating, praying, singing, painting art, being in nature, cutting grass at home. This is the feedback that I've gotten from many of my clients and my workshop attendees. When consciously doing things to quiet their thoughts, most of them say that they're not thinking at all for a time that they are engaged in these activities. I want you to observe your thoughts. And you do this by stopping your thoughts. And you're saying, how in the world do you stop your thoughts? Actually, you can do this by saying to yourself, stop to yourself when the thought arises. And by saying stop to yourself, you bring awareness to the fact that you are thinking and you just stopped a thought. You can also become an observer of your thoughts. When you are listening to your thoughts, trapped by your self-talk, you can say to yourself, what am I thinking of at this very moment? And stay with that thought. Just stay with it. See if it goes away. This helps you to become aware of what you're thinking at that moment. Don't try to pass the thought up, just stay with it. When you become an observer of your thoughts, they no longer take you over or you become dragged in. Your mind begins to calm down, and the incessant, continuous chatter is observed for what it is, a thought that you don't have to listen to. You don't have to listen to the thoughts that are coming up in your mind. Next thing I'd like you to take a look at is to write the thoughts down and examine each negative thought. If the thought is really true, what evidence do you have that it's true? How does this make you feel when you think about that thought? What would be the opposite of this negative thought? Who would you be if you let the thought go? I want to walk you through an exercise on how to identify and turn around negative thoughts. I want you to come up with one negative thought. You can either write it down or just think about it. In this example, the negative thought that I'm going to walk through is, I'm not worthy of a new career. So I ask you, what is the first thing that comes to mind? In this example, it could be you tell yourself, I don't have enough advanced education. I'm not smart enough. No one wants what I have to offer. I'm too old to start a new career. So I want to use this one as an example. I'm not smart enough. I want to use I'm not smart enough. Now ask yourself the following question. Is this negative thought true? Most of the time, your initial thought will be yes, of course it's true. But in this example, yes, I'm not smart enough because most people in that career have a master's degree. I really believe this at this moment. The second question is this thought true beyond a shadow of a doubt? And how do you know this is true? In the example, yes, it's true because most people have a master's degree in this career field. I read a story in the newspaper about this career field, and it stated companies wanted to hire people with advanced degrees. Number 3, how does believing this thought make you feel? In this example, the answer is, when I think about the thought, I feel trapped in my current job, helpless to find another one, and very sad. I feel like I can't start a new career because I don't have enough education. I'll never be able to move forward and improve my life with a new career. Number 4, what would the opposite of this thought be? In this example, I don't need a master's degree for a new career. I have over 20 years of experience and more than enough education. I am qualified for this career. Number 5, who would you be if you let this go? How would you feel if you let the thought go? In this example, I would feel excited, light, and free to move forward and do what I need to do to get into a new career that would bring meaning to my life. I feel re-energized and determined to be resourceful and make something happen. You can download this Identifying and Turning Around Negative Thoughts PDF, which is an example of how to examine a negative thought and turn it around I'll have it in the show notes for this podcast episode. The next thing I'd like to talk about is to tell you to accept yourself for who you are and explore what may be going on inside. This will help you to release a lot of negative self-talk. While you learn to do this and anchor it in, I want to recommend that you filter out any media that's constantly bombarding you with messages that make you feel anything less than a whole person. For example, the cosmetic ads that are always constantly showing you how old you are, how many flaws and wrinkles you have, as well as all the TV ads that tend to be very negative just to get you to buy a product. So you have to decide what that is. The idea here is to filter out all the negativity that's in the environment so that you can form some positive thoughts in your head about yourself. And I wish I could tell you that negative self-talk will go away. It won't. You will live with your thoughts as long as you have a mind and a body and a soul. So why not live peacefully together? You and your thoughts will live together forever as long as you're here on the planet. So when those thoughts come forward, you'll be able to recognize them for what they are, observe them as thoughts, knowing that you don't have to listen to them and they may or may not be true, and not get involved with them, leading them to take you over, letting them control your reality or create a reality that's really not true. When my inner critic shows up sometimes, when I'm speaking to large groups or when I'm launching a new workshop topic or project, the negative thoughts come forward and I can observe them, experience them, and even give them a little energy, because sometimes I get triggered or I get a little emotional, but yet I don't feel like I have to act on them. I focus on something positive to turn those negative thoughts around. For example, when I'm in the midst of a negative thought, I immediately start thinking about how much I love teaching, how much I enjoy helping people to change their lives for the better. And I am just focused on that this audience, these attendees, will walk away with something of value that will make a positive impact in their lives. These positive thoughts give me a big burst of energy, and I am refocused and ready to serve. And the last thing I want to tell you about is talking to yourself in the mirror, repeating a mantra. And I want to recommend that you use one of those positive thoughts that you got from turning around your negative thoughts in this example. I want you to look in the mirror and say to yourself, whatever it is, you look great, or I am confident, I am smart, I am worthy, I am lovable. Whatever it is that comes up, I want you to look in the mirror and do this every morning. It takes a few minutes. This will have a huge impact on your overall mindset, your attitude, your determination in changing how you talk to yourself. Changing how you talk to yourself will help you change your life. I want to know what you thought about this podcast, or if there's other topics that you would be interested in hearing. I want you to email me at my website or here on this podcast page. So let me know what you'd be interested in talking about. You've been listening to Balanced Living for Busy Professionals. I want to thank you so much for tuning in. Namaste. The divine in me sees the divine in you. Thanks for listening.
Thank you for listening to Balanced Living for Busy Professionals. This podcast is sponsored by DianeRandallConsults.com. If you like this show, the best way to support it is by leaving 5-star feedback on iTunes. And please, feel free to email your questions, comments, and suggestions to feedback@DianeRandallConsults.com. Until next week, namaste.